this is Editor's Take. I'm Sakshi Batra and I have with me Gaurav Chaudhary. He's the Deputy Executive Editor of Moneycontrol, and today we are going to be talking about the MSME sector's feedback on the announcements and the sops given by the Modi government, at least announced on the November 2nd. Thanks very much, Gaurav, for joining me. Now, we did discuss the 12 key decisions that Modi government announced on November 2nd. 20 days on, what has been the response really of the MSME sector to these announcements made for them?
So the response has so far been mixed, and one of the key characteristics of this package was that loans will be sanctioned in 59 minutes, in less than an hour, and that was a grandiose plan, as it were, and there were a lot of expectations around that plan.
Yes.
So far as loans are concerned, because credit flow to MSMEs is something that is currently being discussed, is a hot topic now,
yes.
and that is also a bone of contention between the RBI and the government, as we know. And everybody would have assumed that this portal would enable at least sanctioning of loan of up
yes.
to a certain limit within 1 hour. The response has been very mixed from the MSMEs that we have spoken to. While some said it is not as easy as it has been made out to be,
okay.
it is there are a few glitches, and it is not as seamless as it was promised. So there's a bit of a difference between what was promised and what the delivery is. But more important than that, while there is a 2 percentage point interest subsidy that the government has announced
yes.
as part of the scheme, that is something that the MSMEs say is not something that is going to really benefit them. What is going to benefit them more is to ensure that their funds or their receivables from big corporates actually continue unabated. On this particular point, MSMEs are of the view that receivables from big corporates, so far as their products and services are concerned,
yes.
is something that really affects their cash flow.
Absolutely, and we've been talking about how the whole sector is facing this liquidity crunch and the credit crunch, and which is why this 59-minute loan sanction was announced in the first place by the Modi government. Has the situation changed on ground? Have NBFCs and banks started at least lending more to these MSME companies?
So, large part of the MSME lending actually is happening from NBFCs over the last 3-4 years.
Yes.
And NBFCs, as we know, is in the middle of a liquidity crisis. They do not have enough money to lend. And if they do not have enough money to lend, their recipients or the borrowers will be the worst affected.
Yes.
And in this case, it is the MSMEs that seems to be bearing the brunt of that liquidity crisis.
Yes.
Banks clearly, as part of the portal, all public sector banks are empaneled,
yes.
and they are supposed to lend. 20 days is too short a time because
yes.
MSMEs, not all MSMEs may be in the need for credit.
Okay.
Some of them may be, some of them may be not. But having said that, all those that are in the need of credit and approach this portal, their response have not been that encouraging.
Yes. So how many companies have we come to know about, any quantum of the companies who have actually approached this portal and tried to get this loan, and they face some problems,
so
like you said?
I would assume that there are about 65 million MSMEs in India, out of which about, say, even if 1 million would have approached this portal, not all of them would be actually in need for money. Some of them would be just testing the system
yes.
for loans that they may require in the coming
future. Yes.
In the coming months. There are working capital needs, and there are needs for longer term investment for which they need loans. Be that as it may, if there are glitches, systemic or procedural, that needs to be sorted. And the government, to be fair to the government, when the scheme was launched, they said that this is going to be very rigorously monitored for 100 days. Depending on what the response is, they're open to review.
Yes.
And I would not be surprised if they actually change some procedures, ease some procedures to enable MSMEs to borrow in simpler terms, on terms that they actually think is going to benefit them.
Right. So have we heard from the government at all right now on this front as to, are they going to review this? Because I remember you telling us last time around that 1 crore is too less for MSMEs,
that's right.
and that should be reviewed, at least taken up to 5 crore.
MSMEs have been saying that 1 crore is too less, while it might sound very big for startups. For the MSME, which is in production of goods, physical production of goods, 1 crore is not a big amount of money. They want it to be raised to 25 crore. I don't see that happening, being raised to 25 crore. But what the government has indicated is that upon completion of 100 days of the scheme, and depending on the feedback that they get from MSMEs and also from the banks,
yes,
they're open to review.
Okay.
And one of the reviews that I expect to happen is to raise the amount of threshold money from a loan from 1 crore to about 5 crore.
Yes.
I think that is going to happen as we go along.
All right. Thanks very much then, Gaurav, for sharing all that insight with us. Well, the initial response in about 20 days of announcement of these stops has been quite mixed from the MSME sector. There are some glitches to the seamless, at least, giving out of loans so far as what we have understood. But going forward, the government may look at the feedback and also review some of the announcements and stops made by it on November 2nd. Thanks very much for watching us in this edition of Editor's Take. Do stay logged on to moneycontrol.com for more news and updates. Thanks for watching.